Stand by, go.
Okay, my name is Rafael, and I'm doing this video for Judy Vang, practicum class 648, and I will be presenting on a 49 years old Hispanic male who came to my office and requested some counseling. His name is Beto, made up name. Basically he is having trouble, marital problems with his wife and his kids because he's a couple years ago his wife mother moved in, and basically she is running the place. I just want to give you a little background. Beto and his wife and 3 children have lived together for 10 years, and there was little evidence of conflict between the parents and between parents and children. However, cracks in the family system became apparent in 2012 when Beto'S, B-E-T-T-O, mother-in-law moved into the apartment. Beto started to complain to his with my neighbor and about his wife mother moving to and took over and running the house. Basically, he stated that his wife mother changed all the rules, and his 3 teenager children were not showing any interest in their education as they used to before his mother-in-law moved into the apartment. Beto said that he had attempted on several occasions to talk to his wife about the situation, but all his effort had been futile. Whenever Beto bring up an issue about his mother-in-law, his wife turned it against him and accused him of being insensitive and disrespectful. At one point, the situation got heated up after his wife informed Beto that he was being rude to her mother because he was an orphan. Beto argued that his children and his wife had isolated him, and he was feeling like an outcast in his own home. He claimed that the situation had become so bad that his children only communicated to him when they needed money. This isolation forced Beto to resort to alcohol abuse in an effort to mitigate the stress and strains on his troubled marriage and family life. Beto lives in a very typical Hispanic neighborhood and Hispanic community. Some of the I believe that what the theoretical approach that fits to Beto's family is family structure, and family structure was developed by Salvador Minucci, Well, it encompasses the process of which a family therapist attempt to resolve relationship problems within family by using mapping as a structure. Thus is the structure, subsystem, and boundaries, and using as the basics for developing inappropriate interventions. So in Beto's family, there are several systems and subsystems. Structural assessment is found on the idea that it causes a behavioral problem within a family can be best understood through an analysis of the family context. Thus, in conducting an analysis, one must focus on three important contexts: the structure, the subsystem, and the boundaries. The structure entails an analysis of the manner in which a family members interact, and so structural therapists strongly believe that healthy family functioning hinges on a proper, organized, cohesive, and collaboration structure. Structural therapists argue that within the family structures there are subsystems are the instrumental functioning and a healthy functioning of the family. Some of the most powerful subsystems are, in Beto's family, is the parental, the spousal, the subsystem are the children's. One of the boundaries, according to Munich, are the rules that determine the nature of relationship between different subsystems within the family. Some of the factors that contribute to the behavioral in the family. When one relates this construct to Beto's family, it becomes clear that the behavior problems are a result of inherent flaws in the structure, subsystem, and boundaries. For example, the entrance of Beto's mother-in-law into the family disturbed the family structure, and the result was disorganization in which there are no effective ways that members can interact. Thus, Beto family-in-law overruled him, and his three teenager children receive advice on his behavior from his grandmother, on their behavior from their grandmother, rather than from Beto, which is the patriarchal of the family, which is the part of the parental system of the family. Thus, the hierarchy they exist prior to entering of Beto's mother-in-law is completely non-existent, and the effect of these flaws manifest themselves in the form of the children's disinteresting in education. Beto is isolated, and the constant problem between Beto and his wife. Inherent flaws in a spousal subsystem in the parental subsystem are also contributing factors. The parent's incapacity to perform their primary role of caring, loving, and protecting the children implies to they now have to rely on a grandmother. This plays in a strain in a family that contribute to the emerging of behavioral problems. How many minutes do we have? Additionally, the absence of a clear boundaries had been instrumental in exacerbating these problems. The entrance of Beto's mother-in-law and her desire to impose her rules on his family had adversely affect the integrity and boundary that exist in a family prior to her arrival. The integrity was further compromised when Beto's wife allowed her mother to take charge of the house, even when she knew that this was her husband's responsibility. Some of the interventions in this case, or a treatment plan, would be from the structural assessment perspective. The therapist, the clinician, or the counselor can intervene to address the situation in Beto's family in two ways. First, the structural therapist can address the situation by recommending alterations to the family structure. A very complex process that will take several steps. The first step will entails an assessment of the areas of flexibility. These areas of flexibility are the areas where family members are amenable to change, the areas that they want to make changes. Once these areas have been clearly identified and communicated to the family members, the family therapist will start the modification process in the following manner. Reshape the boundaries within the family by lessening the separation between the spousal subsystem, which is between Beto and his wife. The parental subsystem and the sibling subsystem help increase contact between Beto and other family members, not with my neighbor, and create an environment where specific dyads can iron out the prospective problems without the intervention of the family member. This will entail a session in which Beto and his mother-in-law privately discuss and resolve their problems, in which Beto and his wife resolve their problems, and in which Beto and his children communicate privately and resolve their difference. It will also entail sessions in which Beto's wife speaks to her mother about her role in their family subsystem. Secondly, the clinician can use crisis induction whenever there is evidence that the family members are not responsive to her directions. Crisis induction refers to the process through which the structural therapist creates instability in the family with the sole aim of motivating the family members to change. These interventions will particularly be helpful to Beto'S family because the friction between Beto and his mother-in-law implies that the structural therapist might experience difficulties in conveying his message or her message to the family member. How many minutes away? Well, I guess that is my presentation. Thank you, and be patient while watching this video. Be patient because of my accent. Thank you.